Hello and welcome to Indian football's most famous match, the great historic rivalry, the greatest rivalry in Asia. It's a match in which you can go from zero to hero or from hero to zero in a small time. These numerous fans of all generations and time immemorial will come here. 30 minutes from now, one part of Bengal will be celebrating, the other part will be deep. It will be deafening.
We're underway. Sit back and enjoy, everybody.
Hello and welcome to a very, very special show for the 383rd Kolkata Derby, which will be happening tomorrow at the 𝐕𝐵𝐸𝐺𝐴NAND 𝐸𝐵 𝐺𝑎𝑟𝑎𝑡𝑖 Kolkata in the 131st edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup. And we are joined by some very, very special people on this particular show. Right at the first, we have someone who only gets younger on his every birthday, the legendary John Helm. We have Indian football legend Shabir Ali. We have, of course, Douglas Silva. We all know him as well, the man who never lost Kolkata Derby. And of course, it's me, Suman Chakravarti, your host for this particular show. First of all, thank you everyone, gentlemen, for your time to be here for this special preview show for the Kolkata Derby, which will be happening tomorrow, as I mentioned, at the VYBK. I'll be coming to John first. John, first of all, thanks for your time. You're joining all the way from Costa Rica, where you're doing under-20 FIFA Women's World Cup. Once again, thanks for your time. But how are you doing? That's the first question I have for you.
Yeah, hello everybody. Delighted to be on the show, and I'm very careful in what I'm wearing. I'm not wearing any red and gold. I'm not wearing any green and maroon. I have a wonderful backdrop here in San Jose, Costa Rica, and I'm preparing for tomorrow's final of the Women's Under-20 World Cup. Between Spain, who've been absolutely excellent so far, and Japan. It's a repeat of the final here 4 years ago. But I'm really looking forward to this Kolkata Derby as well, and I think I'm going to be able to watch it on streaming. So, and I've been at quite a few of the Kolkata Derbies, as you know, Schumann, over the years. So, yeah, really excited about the prospect.
Thank you so much, John. We have Shabir Ali as well, Indian football legend. Everyone knows him in Indian football as well. Shabir, the big game tomorrow. Both the teams, they haven't been doing too good of late in this particular tournament, but the Kolkata Derby, it's always 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It is 50-50. Nobody can say anything. It's a history, and everybody is looking, including myself, because after 2 years, they are playing in Calcutta. Of course, it is entirely different than our time. Because in our time, if you lose, you have to go to other place and go home. But whereas it's not like before only. So Calcutta Derby is very, very special for everyone, especially for the supporters.
Absolutely. And now we have a man, rather a legend all the way from Brazil. The man who never lost a Kolkata Derby, let it be in his Bengal colors, let it be in Mohun Bagan colors. Douglas, how are you doing?
Hello, guys. Good evening. Thank you for the invitation. It's nice to see all of you. Mr. Shabir Ali, after a long time, I didn't see him. Hello, sir. Mr. John, nice to meet you. Even if it's for screen, but it is a special day for not only for me, but for us. And as Mr. Shabir Ali said, tomorrow the derby will be played in Kolkata Durand Cup. Before they used to play in Delhi. It will be one more motivation for both of them, because the first time I'm not sure, but it will be the first time they will play the Durand Cup in Kolkata, and a special one derby.
Absolutely, Douglas. I'll be coming to John. John, we have seen both the Kolkata teams in the last couple of seasons when they were playing the derby away from Kolkata. But my question would be to you, like, of course, this game, of course, has a lot of legacy, as I mentioned. But if you talk about the Durand Cup, the third oldest football tournament in the world, it has a revival in 2019. Now it's happening in 3 different cities with 20 teams participating in it. How do you see this tournament? So it's a rich
tournament
in terms of their historic prowess.
Manuel.
Yes, reinvigorated last year when I arrived in India. I was reading all the reports about the matches that have been played in the Durand Cup, and now, as you say, to take in 3 different locations as well. I mean, every time I've been to Guwahati, I've been astonished at the passion there. Whenever I go to Kerala, I never get over the sea of yellow shirts. And I have been to the Salt Lake Stadium for a Kolkata derby many, many years ago. But when people ask me about the most passionate derbies around the world, I do mention the Glasgow one between Celtic and Rangers. I do mention Boca Juniors against River Plate in Argentina. But I say to people, do not forget that if you go to Kolkata, you will see football at absolute fever pitch. On Kolkata Derby Day, it means everything to almost every inhabitant of that wonderful city. It should be called the City of Dreams, because that's what those 2 clubs are. They are a fountain for dreams for so many thousands of supporters. And I was thrilled to hear that it looks as though there's going to be a crowd of around 70,000 there, which is fantastic.
Absolutely, John. I mean, all the tickets are being sold out. It's crazy scenes here in Kolkata. Quite expected, because the first time it has been happening in the last 3 years. So the madness was expected, but the way the fans responded, despite the fact that the 2 teams didn't have a win so far in this competition, it's been heartening to see. I'd be coming to Shabida. Shabida, you have played this derby. You know how big it is for the Kolkata crowd. Tomorrow, it's a fresh game. I mean, whoever loses the game would be knocked out from the tournament. And the context of the tournament, how do you see this game shaping up?
Yeah, it's very important because 2 matches, both the team, they didn't play well. Whereas for Mohun Bagan, little easier match. For East Bengal, no. They have to play Mohun Bagan. Then the next match will be Mumbai City. Of course, Mumbai City, they have got the 4 points. But whatever the other result, whatever the other matches and all, for Kolkata team, especially for the supporter as well as for the officials and the players, this is a very crucial match. And sometime if they are out of the tournament, okay, but we have to win the derby. That is the speciality of derby, because we can't lose this match. No doubt, since last 2 years, East Bengal, they made the team at the last moment. It was not that good performance in the ISL. Mohun Bagan beat them easily. But that will become a history. But current result counts. And both the team, as you said, they are not doing that much compared to what other teams are doing and what everyone was expecting from East Bengal and Mohun Bagan to do well. So tomorrow is a very, very important match for both the teams.
I'd be coming to Douglas. Douglas, you have played so many derbies. You have been a derby king. What is your fond derby memory over the years as a player?
See, there is lots of memory, you know. All the memory, all the matches that I played, you know, it's not about the luck, you know, but it was the way we prepare ourselves to play. And it is different. This is a different game. I used to play some derbies here in Brazil before I joined to East Bengal. I used to play some derbies here in Brazil, you know, because as everyone knows, I used to play some big clubs in Brazil here. So it was one more advantage for me when I joined East Bengal to play the derby. But of course, the feeling of the people and the atmosphere was totally different. It is like one final inside of one championship, because everyone, even if you not win the league, but if you win the derby, it is fantastic for everyone. Mr. Sabir Ali knows very well about that. But of course, everyone looking for the league, everyone looking for the title, but it is very, very important if you win the derby. The most important if you not to lose. So there is lots of memory, the first one, the last one, you know, there is lots of story, because always I used to say that people always used to ask me, what's your feeling about tomorrow's match? Tomorrow I'm going for a party. But people say, why you are going for party? Because I have prepared myself very well. The preparation for the derby for myself, it was totally different. I used to do double. I used to work, the way I used to work before the derby, I used to work double. So that's why I used to say people, it is not overconfidence, but I know I'm well prepared for that. I will do well. By God's grace, always I used to do well, and most of the time I used to decide the matches.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'd be coming to John. John, you have seen these two teams in the last couple of seasons in the Hero ISL. Of course, I mean, there have been a lot of changes in terms of the players, like ATK Mohun Bagan. They have released both their attacking options on the upfront, Roy Krishna and David Williams. If it comes in terms of Imami East Bengal, FC, they have also found some new players in the team. It's a fresh team. How do you see, if you just put it on a balance, like who would be starting as a favorite? Of course, Derby is always 50-50, but according to you, who would be starting as favorites? Because both the teams have been generating a lot of chances, but unfortunately, those chances are not getting converted.
Yes, it's quite right that it takes new players quite a while to settle. And I do wish, by the way, the new ownership of East Bengal all the best. I'd like to see them become more competitive again. The games I've seen in ISL over recent seasons have all gone ATK's way because they had people like Roy Krishna and David Williams who were capable of scoring goals. And from the results so far in the Durand Cup, it would appear that East Bengal's problem again is putting the ball in the net. They have had 2 goalless draws, and I know the goalkeeper has been in absolutely excellent form. 𝐾𝐥𝐦 has been fantastic. But I do think that when I look at the lineups likely for tomorrow, from what I've seen, I like the look of the ATK signings. People like Ashish Rai was absolutely excellent. Pritam Kotal still there. Subhashish Bose, Carl McHugh, Yanni Kauko, Liston. I've seen the evolution of Liston coming in, of course, from Goa and being an absolute revelation and scoring some wonderful goals. But if East Bengal has a problem, it is in finding a goal scorer. So I do hope that one emerges for them. I think it's 6 matches in a row now that ATK have not lost. You have to go back to I-League days in 2019 for the last East Bengal victory. So I really wish them all the best as well. And I hope that they're able to put on a show and get that ball in the net. As the other 2 guests on the show will tell anybody, football is all about putting the ball into the back of the net. If you don't do that, you never win a football match.
Absolutely. And for the people who love statistics, I'd be telling a little bit about them. Like both the teams, as I mentioned, have played 382 derbies between each other. In the history of Durand Cup, these 2 teams have met 19 times. And Mohun Bagan, the Green and Maroon Brigade, they have won 6 times. On the flip side of it, the Red and Gold Brigade, they won it 8 times, went 5 times. It ended up in a draw. Do you think, Shabir, I mean, things will be changing tomorrow?
I don't think. It depends upon day's performance. History does not count here. No doubt. I said just now, the last 2 ISL, Mohun Bagan, they had upper hand and all, and East Bengal, they met the team on the last moment. So whatever you do before does not count. Day's performance count. And no doubt, derby is very important, as Douglas said, as Mr. John said. But this derby, something more, because beginning of the season, pre-season, and main thing, if something goes wrong, they are out of the Durand also. That also very important thing. So tomorrow match is very crucial for them, and they have to do pass result, whatever it is. Even most of the time, when the East Bengal or behind Mohun Bagan, they beat them, or when the vice versa, Mohun Bagan beat East Bengal when East Bengal was in a good position, something like that. So it does not matter history. Tomorrow's game, very important. You have to perform. No doubt, East Bengal lacking in a striking position. Maybe tomorrow they will rise to the occasion. And Mohun Bagan, as just now John said, they are really good. And I must give credit to another youngster, Kian, son of my friend, Jamshed Nasiri, who got little chance. He performed very well in the ISL.
Absolutely. I'd be coming to Douglas. Douglas, I mean, you have played for both the Kolkata Giants. And I mean, for East Bengal, you have great success. So has been for Mohun Bagan. I have a small question. How has been the dressing room over the years? You have been in both the dressing rooms. What is the nature of the dressing rooms on a Kolkata derby day, actually?
See, there is 2 different clubs, 2 different dressing rooms. East Bengal, the dressing room, it is small. They forget about the team. They forget about everything. They go for more than the passion. So since the time you would go inside of the dressing room, the door was closed and everyone is shouting to each other, talking, especially with Mr. Sopon Ball, who is not more with us. He was one of the main person inside of the dressing room in East Bengal. So about Mohun Bagan, it is different. The people was more cool, but very focused. That is too different. But I have enjoyed both. But of course, the way the preparation inside of the dressing room in East Bengal, if you don't need any warm-up, as I used to say, you don't need any more warm-up if you be inside of the East Bengal dressing room. But I took that advantage to Mohun Bagan dressing room, because when I joined them, I felt that was so cool. Why that place was so cool. People were so focused. Some people were listening music. They, no. We have to change. We are going to the final match. It is not one single match. That is I took from East Bengal dressing room to Mohun Bagan. But it is totally different. I can't express to you guys how is the feeling of the player. Most of the players who played with me in East Bengal, they played with me in Mohun Bagan. But the way is different. It is the way of Mohun Bagan. The way, I'm not saying that they are not serious, they are not focused on the match, but there is something different. But the dressing room of East Bengal, it is. I feel it is more for myself, because I used to fight. I always people call me as a fighter. That particular way of East Bengal always, before it was we took as advantage for the match.
Absolutely, Douglas. I have a question from Sohan Poddar, and this question is for John. He writes, my question is to John. You have seen both Johnny Kauko and Alex Lima. How crucial is going to be the battle, the midfield battle tomorrow in the Indian Oil Durand Cup between these two players?
Well, I think there are going to be battles all over the field. But when I noticed that Alex Lima had signed, I thought, what a very good signature that is. And he kept 𝐸𝐸 as well. So I think there are so many quality players out there. But matches are generally won in the midfield. Whoever gets hold of that part of the game probably goes on to win. I've also already referred to the goal-scoring abilities of people like Liston, for example. But Alex Lima is an absolutely wonderful player. I think the other people who have a big part to play in this game are the referee, the officials, who are going to have to be very, very strong. And now when you've said about the fervour of the occasion, I think it's wonderful, by the way, that we've had our reasons. The pandemic has been a nightmare for absolutely everybody. But to be able to see 70,000 people in there and to witness the fervour, and whoever is the most fervent of the two sets of supporters may come out on top as well, because they do affect a game. There is no question that supporters can affect a game. And under the pandemic rules, everybody living in a bubble, it's not been real. I've always said it's hollow, is the atmosphere when the games are played behind closed doors. We know the reason why that had to be the case. But it's so wonderful that now the fans are going to be able to wear their colours to go back into Salt Lake. I just think that whichever set of fans inspires their team the most will have done a great job in going part way to seeing them get the points into going to the next round. As we know, the loser has gone.
Absolutely. And one thing I definitely ask to John before I go to Shabida. Of course, Stephen Constantine, the former India head coach, is now on the hot seat of East Bengal side. On the flip side of it, Juan Ferrando is also a shrewd tactician, would be there in the Mariners camp. How do you see the battle between the two shrewd tacticians tomorrow?
It's going to be a very technical battle between the two, because Juan Ferrando still has to win over the supporters in many ways, because ATK didn't win the league last year. They didn't win the Shield. And we all know where East Bengal finished in the ISL table, of course. Now, Stephen Constantine, I've known for many, many years, since he was the coach of the Nepal international team. He was also the coach at the Asian Cup with India in the United Arab Emirates when I was there a few years ago as well. he still has to win the faith and to win the approval of his sets of supporters as well. So I think how they approach this one, it may be a single goal that will decide this contest, and whichever coach is able to procure that from his players, whoever is the one who is able to inspire will be the one that comes out on top. And they both know that. I mean, they're both very experienced men in the business of trying to win football matches. So that is yet another key battle. There are battles to be won on the pitch and off the pitch.
Absolutely. I'd be coming to Shabida, and the question would be from a fan. His name is Mohammed Hafiz, and the question is, what might be the result tomorrow? He wants to know it from Shabir Ali.
Everybody knows I am not good at prediction, or I can't give this thing who is going to win and what will be the result and all. But as you go the last few matches and all, slightly Mohun Bagan has got the upper hand. But you can't say, after all, it's a derby. Two coaches are there, good players are there. So anything can happen. Maybe, as John said, maybe one goal here or there, not maybe more than that.
Well, before I go to Douglas, I have another question from Sushant Paul for John Helm. And the question is, who has more match winners, he wants to know, in East Bengal and Mohun Bagan tomorrow?
Well, obviously, I've not seen the two new makeups since the start of the Durand Cup competition. I have seen the lineups from the two teams. But for me, every time I've seen Liston Colasso, he is a match winner. There is no question about that. So I would have said that ATK probably do have it on balance with regard to that. I certainly won't back against either of these two teams. This is a derby match and form goes out of the window. They both know they have to win. And whoever does get that one, as we've just confirmed again there, I think it'll be a low-scoring affair, probably, with one goal settling it. Could be anybody.
Yeah, I'll be coming to Douglas. Of course, I mean, you have seen so many ups and downs in the history of Kolkata Derby. What it exactly does when a team between East Bengal and Mohun Bagan are down by a goal or a couple of goals to nil at the halftime? How has been the dressing room so far?
See, always I used to say that the derby is 50-50. But at this time, I'm seeing Mohun Bagan is a little bit advantage because of the way the preparation of the season. Okay. So as Mr. John said, tomorrow, it is like one single mistake can decide the match. But Mohun Bagan has started the season earlier than East Bengal. The logistics of East Bengal to bring them, due to the problem was investor, the preparation was delayed. So even if it was played, it is Durand Cup or any other tournament, it is called derby. Derby, the people who are on the gallery, they don't care who reached tomorrow or who will reach in Kolkata 2 days ago or 40 days ago. They want to see them giving their life. But how you expected from those players from East Bengal if they have reached a couple of days ago? It is difficult. I'm talking about almost all the foreigners. Let's talk about the foreigners. They have reached in Kolkata 3-4 days ago. So they are not full fit to play a match. At least they have to accept their time, because the most of the time in the difference between India and South America, it's almost 9 hours. So you need at least 10 days to adjust yourself. But tomorrow there is a big derby. What will be happen if they don't play well tomorrow? The first impression, the people will say that this player, they are not good. But no, it's not that. Even there are the two guys, one from Cyprus and Ivan from Spain. They just now they have reached, and everyone knows that the foreigner is very, very important for the derby match. Of course, all the foreigner cannot do anything alone without the support of Indian players. But at this time, it is the first time in my life, after 20 years, I'm saying that Mohun Bagan is a little bit ahead of East Bengal. I can't say that how many goals they will score, but at the moment Mohun Bagan are a little bit ahead. because they start before they used to play matches. And Mohan Bagan, they are looking for the FC. If people say, okay, tomorrow is Durand Cup, but Mohan Bagan, they are looking for FC. They don't care about Durand Cup. But tomorrow is different match. Tomorrow is the derby match. It's called like a final. So at this time, Mohan Bagan is little bit ahead of East Bengal. And supposedly, if Mohan Bagan scored the goal in the first half, they could score more goal in the second half.
Brilliant, brilliant. I'd be coming to John after that insightful answer from Douglas. The question would be from Abhijit Malik. He has a question like, do you think playing with Indian strikers for the entire season would be a nightmare for Mohan Bagan?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. You know, I go back to the days of Baichung, and you know, you've had some terrific Indian strikers over the years, and I think one or two more are emerging now, which I think is good for the prospects for Asian Cup and for everything, and for 𝐸𝐺 𝐇𝐞𝐥𝐦. So the Indian striker, most players that have come into the ISL, for example, have been foreign strikers. As we all know, they don't bring in foreign goalkeepers anymore. They don't bring in foreign fullbacks. So I think it's an imponderable question, really. It's one that's impossible to answer, but it's something I'd like to see. I would definitely like to see. And I think tomorrow, one of the young development players, for example, could stand up to the plate, could become the hero of the day, wearing that shirt, the pride that's just been talked about there, wearing the red and gold, or the green and maroon. The player who puts that shirt on and really wants to do it for the team is the one who could become the newest hero for those fans. And it only takes one incident, one moment for that to happen. And I'd love it to be one of the Indian boys.
Brilliant. John, 𝐾𝐸𝐺 has a question for you.
Can I tell Suman something?
Yes, please.
Our bad luck, the TV was not there, no complaint. Mr. John must have not seen us, like Akbar, myself, Inder, Sisir, Vishwajit, Magan Singh. They were the Indians who were carrying the team also. So now, of course, is a traditional for the foreigners and all.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm agree.
Yes. Well, question as I was asking to John, 𝐾𝐸𝐺 has a question. Any special tactic or any surprise we can expect tomorrow from both the teams? Especially, you know, Clayton Silva, he has been a proven goal scorer in Indian football, might make his debut tomorrow in the red and gold colours.
Is that one for me? Was that
Yes.
the question for me again?
Yes, John.
Yeah, you know, it's all conjecture, isn't it? It's all about team selection. It's all about the coaches getting it right on the day, picking the right 11 to start with, having the right benches, having the right people, having the right tactics. It's all about making decisions on the day. And the coach who makes the right decisions will be the one that emerges victorious. It could go all the way. It's that tight to call between these two teams. And I just wish, and I just fervently hope that it's an occasion that we are going to remember. It's had such a massive build-up. As you say, we go back a century now talking about the great games. And I just hope that this one, now that the Durand Cup has been reinvigorated, and it really has, because I think, as people know, it was, you know, a competition that was going nowhere at one time. It is now firmly in the diary. It's a great setup. And a lot of the coaches, of course, are using it for ISL preparation and seeing the sort of formations they're going to start with when that gets underway again. And they're looking to some of these development players. They're looking to protect one or two of the star names as well. But at the same time, nobody wants to lose this one. This is the match that neither side can afford to lose.
Absolutely. Suman Haldar has a question for Shabir, and the question is, my question is for Shabir sir. Tell about the two teams' defense. Mohan Bagan defense already conceded 4 goals in the last couple of games.
Yeah, they conceded, especially against Rajasthan at the last moment also, and 3 goals on that day. It's not that good. It happens sometime. You can't say that the defense is weak and all. So if you play matches, sometimes you concede. but it is too much as far as the Mohun Bagan is concerned, because Subhashish, Pritam Kotal and others are there. Now in the other team, let's see how East Bengal, even Lawrence and company will do. But as far as Mohun Bagan is concerned, during the group matches, 4 goals is too much. They have to tight the grip, otherwise it will be very difficult for Mohun Bagan against East Bengal.
Well, we are just coming towards the end of this particular show. I have a question for Aninda Acharya, and this question is for Douglas De Silva. Douglas, which club are you going to support tomorrow? You have played for both the clubs.
There, I have no club to support tomorrow. But of course, everyone knows the feeling that I have for East Bengal. And as all East Bengal fans, I'm suffering a lot because I make my successful wearing East Bengal jersey, So my respect for Mohun Bagan, because I played two seasons for Mohun Bagan. I won some title for Mohun Bagan also. And I won 13 with East Bengal. So almost 16 titles I won in India. And of course, my heart beat a little bit more fast for East Bengal. Everyone knows that. But derby is derby, I like to see a good match because now the situation is totally different of our time. Now the ground is superb. Our time, Mr. Sabir Ali know very well about that. We used to play this match in the 5th one. Sometimes it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. The weather was 45 degrees, 48 degrees. The ground was horrible. Now they are playing the grass like a 5-star ground. The ground was super. The facility was the standard was very, very well. So, but I'm looking for the good matches. Of course, everyone knows that the first 10 to 15 minutes, the match is horrible. Always the first 10 to 15 minutes is derby. The match was not that good at all. But let's hope from at least from the 5 to 10 minutes they played a good game. And
absolutely,
who did not make one single mistake can win the match.
Yes, Douglas, you have another question from some Soikat Roy, and it's a very, very serious question. Douglas, do you still miss Subhash Bhomik?
Yes, it is one particular thing that suppose if I'm Constantine at this time, because as we all know that Constantine, he knows Indian football when he was the coach of the national team. It is the new experience for him to work in Indian football as a coach of one football club. Now he will feel the pressure day by day. 7 days a week, he will get the pressure to work in East Bengal. To work as I used to say, to work in Kolkata, it is not for everyone. Suppose at this time, if I was a Constantine, I should call some 2 or 3 ex-footballers who did well in East Bengal, especially in derby, and talk with them. Of course, it was later, but it is Mr. Sabir Ali knows very well that it can help a lot because he's new. He's new in Indian clubs. He's not new in Indian country. He knows the culture. He knows the way of Indian players who used to play, the way the Indian player used to live, but he don't know how to work in clubs. It is the first time he work in Indian clubs. Of course, if Mr. Subhash Bhomik was alive, he was the main person that Mr. Constantine should talk because he is one of the person who knows very, very well about the derby because he worked for both clubs as well. I miss him a lot because before the derby, we used to sit together to 5 and 6 hours one day before to discuss about the match, always. There is no one single derby before that I did not go to his house and sit with them and discuss for more than 5 to 6 hours talking about the derby. That's why we used to do very well.
Of course, Subhash Bhomik would be missed in this particular derby as well. And I'll be coming for the last couple of questions. First to, of course, John. This question comes from Saurabh Mandal. And the question is, in the attacking third of Mohan Bagan, the wingers are creating difficulties, or rather, they're having difficulties to find a player to pass on the front. John, what would be your antidote?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch the last bit of that, Suman. I heard the first bit about the stadium. Just ask me again.
Yes. So his question is like, in the attacking third of Mohan Bagan, the wingers are getting difficulties to find a player to pass on the front. So,
right, okay.
What should they do?
Yes, I'm not too sure about that. It's hard to conjecture when you're talking about finding players, and I do think about the form at the moment. Neither of them have played particularly well in these two games. You know, for ATK not to have won either of them and to concede late goals as well, and for East Bengal to have been scoreless in these two matches, something's got to give, something's got to change. It is all about who stands up on the day. I just hope, as has been said there, that this is going to be an occasion that we all remember. I'm not stupid enough to stick my neck out and say who's going to win or what the score's going to be, because I have too many friends in both camps and I want to retain all those friendships as well. So let's just see what happens on the day.
One more question attached with it from Aninda Acharya to you. John, you are one of my favorite commentators. Share your experience when you first commentated in the ISL when these two teams played between them.
Oh, well, it's a day never to be forgotten. I mean, I've never forgotten a single match. I don't think I've commentated in India, going way back. I'm probably going back 15 or 16 years now. I've got so many memories, so many happy memories, so many vivid memories. I've seen so many great players as well. I was privileged to see the likes of Baichung and Barreto. I've been privileged to go to so many different stadiums in India as well. And then the adventure that is ISL has been wonderful for me, and hopefully I'll be back again for the 9th edition later this year. And there hasn't been a dull moment. I can honestly say I've been now in my career for 63 years, which is an awful long time, and I've been commentating, for 40 odd of those years, and I've been to 88 different countries now. And I honestly say that of the 88, India is the most vivid, the most memorable, and the one I always want to go back to. And that is exactly the way it is right now. That although I'm thoroughly enjoying myself here in Costa Rica, and I love going to places like New Zealand, next year there's a big tournament there. But whenever I think about India, it brings back thousands, and I mean thousands of memories, and especially of Derby Day, because whenever we sit down for a meeting before the start of a new season, everybody says, what date is the Derby? That's the first question anybody asks, and it sounds a bit disrespectful to all the other teams that make up ISL, but that's the only thing they want to know straight away is, what date is the Derby? Now, this is in the Durand Cup, it's not in ISL, but that makes it a very, very special occasion nonetheless. I think it's the first meeting of these teams in this competition for more than a decade. So I just wish everybody well. I hope it goes terrifically well as a game and a contest. Wonderful to see the fans back in there, and I look forward to seeing everybody again later in the year.
Well, the last question
I think he will be top of the list, I think, of commentator. The way he told 63 years and so many countries, I don't think any other commentator must have done so much.
It means I'm very old.
Well,
very old, but still very active, still very much in love with the game.
Yeah, John, as I mentioned before the start of this particular show as well, John only gets younger on his every birthday. He has been my mentor. More importantly, he has always been an inspiration for millions of commentators across the globe. I have another question to end this particular show from Pratyusha Mukherjee from BBC. And this question is, first of all, very nice presentation, Suman. Thank you so much. My question for Shabir Bhai, East Bengal and Mohan Bagan always fight for supremacy in club football, regardless of the origin of their fans and players. Is it correct or not? Secondly, I want to ask John, that's in tomorrow's game, which team would be your favorite? Thanks.
So we told before only, whatever the result, whatever the tournament, whatever their position, derby is derby. And especially between these two teams, and this match is in Calcutta, even if it is outside Calcutta also. Because still, I tell about derby to other players all over India, other officials all over India, because Calcutta derby is something special. And whatever your position, your favorite or not, derby is derby. You have to do perform. So it's very, very important for any team, you can say. And most of them, they doesn't know what they used to do. If one team lose, other team sending the fish, hilsa or something like that. So some of them before they were not going to their local joint or local place. Even first we lost 78. All came to the YMCA, stay there. Then others went home. They didn't go direct from the tent to the home. Now it is different. So after all, derby is derby. So they have to win. Whoever in a better position, that is immaterial.
So going with the last question from Pratyusha Mukherjee, I'd be asking this question to each and everyone. John, to start with, quick prediction for tomorrow's game.
Well, as I say, I'm not going to say that either team is going to win. I just think it's one that sets the pulse racing, no matter who, and it will depend on which team comes out wanting it the most. I'll go no further than that. I'm not going to give a score prediction. I'm not going to give a result prediction because I've been in the game long enough to know that you really are putting your neck on the line stupidly at times if you do that. And as I say, both teams have an equal chance going into it. There's no question about that. It's a derby. One thing that's always astonished me, no matter where the players come from, and Douglas would, I'm sure, agree with this. He's from Brazil. They get into the mood on Derby Day. They sense that this is different. This is different to any other game that they'll play all season. I'm not going to say it's going to be a draw, but I'm not going to say who's going to win.
Shabida, quick prediction.
I think this is the first time Mohun Bagan and East Bengal not won a single match in the group after playing 2 matches. I don't think this thing happened before in any All India tournament. So whoever's play well tomorrow, so it's difficult to predict. If you take ISL into consideration, our previous performance, Mohun Bagan little better on paper. Also, they are good, but on the day of the match, performance count. So it's very difficult to predict. Of course, little upper hand for Mohun Bagan.
Douglas, 2 Brazilians will be playing over there. Of course, Derby is known for some amazing, legendary Brazilians. Jose Ramirez Barreto, Hudson Lima were there as well. So Clayton Silva and Eliandro would be there, of course, in East Bengal colors. But of course, what is your prediction tomorrow?
As everyone is saying that, it is very difficult to say who is going to win tomorrow. But as I said, tomorrow you have to go all out because it is a very crucial match because both of them need to win. It is the first time they are playing Durand Cup and they are needing the points. So I don't think so this match will be draw because both of them need the point. Both of them need to win the match if they want to go ahead in Durand Cup. So they have been played 2 matches until now. Before you used to play, we are in the top of the table. The last 2 matches, we used to change the team because we already qualified. But tomorrow's match, both of team needs to win the match. So I'm not talking only about the Brazilians because I don't think both of the Brazilians, they are 100% fit to play tomorrow. I'm not saying that they are physically fit to play. I'm saying like medically because they are traveled from so far and they have reached 2-3 days ago. So, but derby is always derby. Always you are expected from Brazilian. I'm not saying that because I'm from Brazil, but people in Kolkata, the most of people who did successful in Kolkata, it is also Brazilian as well. I'm not, of course, some Indian players and some overseas players also have done well in Kolkata. But we are looking for the good match. If they play, as always I used to say, those who have the chance to play derby, they have to give their life because it's not always you get the chance to play a big match like East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. You have to give their life. Even you are fit or not, but you have to give your life inside of the field. If I was there, I'm sure I will win the match. But I'm not there, I cannot say anything.
Thank you so much, Douglas. Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much, Shabir. It has been an enthralling show for sure. So many questions came. I'm sorry to all of them whose questions were not being taken because of the time issue. But of course, we tried to take as many questions as possible. And of course, our honored guests tried to answer them as much as possible. Tomorrow, historic game, 383rd edition of the Kolkata Derby. I'm sure the fans at VYBK would be thoroughly enjoying the game, and all the best to the teams, and of course the fans. Hope it will be a fantastic occasion to watch. Keep watching the Indian Oil Durand Cup only on the Sports 18 and vote. Thanks for joining us.